How's it going, everybody, and welcome back. As you can see, the old XJ's back in the shop again. We're going to go ahead and try to fix something that has been kind of bothering me ever since I got the truck. Originally, I never even knew that this was a problem because this whole thing was just filled with parts. But while I was cleaning it out, I noticed that there was a replacement left side A-pillar just laying in the truck. And it looks to me like at some point in its life, somebody tried to break into it, or they did break into it, and they kind of damaged this pillar. Well, alrighty, if we go over here, this pillar is super nice. It's in perfect shape. And then if we head over here, it's pretty apparent the damage, especially now that I've put some corrosion inhibitor on there that makes it all black. You can see it's kinked in here and stuff and up there. Now the right way to fix this is to cut the pillar out of it and weld it a new one, because this is a critical structural component to the vehicle. So do this repair the way I'm going to do it at your own risk, because it could potentially be dangerous or fatal for you if it rolled over. But there you go. This is why I think it might have been broken into at one point, because this is dented down. Like maybe somebody had a big screwdriver on it and was prying up on it and messed it up. But the door doesn't leak. There's no wind noise. It's not kinked in or anything like that. So we don't have too many problems. I think it's just mostly cosmetic. I'm pretty sure that the structural integrity of the pillar is all there. It's just kind of dented up on the outside. So that's why I'm going to give it a shot with the stud welder and see what we can get into. I think it'll be fine. I'm going to coat it with some epoxy primer, and I think we'll be good. Well, this is going to be our weapon of choice for this repair. It's a stud welder, unispotter. There's a bunch of different names for them, but essentially you spot weld these studs onto your panel. It like attaches that little mushroom end to your panel, and you use a slide hammer to pull out on these things and tap out whatever your dents are. Now they're way better to use something like that than the old style where you have to drive screws into your panel and hammer them out that way, and then you're left with a whole bunch of holes. This thing, you just grind them right off, and you're good to go. Well, okay, I put a little bit of Gorilla Tape on the inside edge and on the windshield, just because this door outer skin paint is fine. And also, even though this windshield is trash, I don't want giant gouges in it in case I slip off with the flap disc or whatever. So a little bit of Gorilla Tape. It's nice and hardcore, so should protect it a little bit. I got this custom can of paint. This is a single stage color for this truck. It's the right paint code. I've used it at the top before, so it matches fine. And once we put the epoxy primer down, we won't have to worry about rust or chipping or anything. So it should be good. All right, with one of these things, there's your stud. Goes right in the end, just like that. When you push down on it, it grounds out in here, and that makes the connection. You just pull the old trigger there. You could zap it on in. It weighs quite a bit, so we'll see how it works with my wrist. It's already hurting, but we'll give it a shot. So just got to have enough bare metal right there and here to make the connection, and it'll zap it in. That's all you got to do. So I'll try to get you up there close and personal on it. You can see that it's in the direction that we want to pull out on. We've got a pretty good bite down there. It's not overdone. You can blow right through this metal, so you don't want to totally annihilate the metal. You just want a nice good. We got a good connection right there. These are flimsy, so just so you know, because they're designed to break off. So anyway, we'll put the slide hammer on it, start tapping on it. You should be able to see this just start coming out. So slide your slide hammer through, grab onto this, tighten it up. There we go, now we're on there. I'm like backwards to show you guys. I'll show you how it pulls out and when you got to stop. I don't know if you can see or not. It's kind of hard on a video, but it starts to like volcano up. Really difficult to show you guys. But anyways, it'll start to kind of peak up and you want to stop there. So you need several of these, obviously. You want to run them down here in different spots. And you want to try to pull them all up as evenly as possible. You don't want to go like whole hog on this one, or else it'll stretch the metal so much that you won't really be able to form it very easily. So we're just going to go down here, try to hit some of these other low spots and pull it up. So that's a really low spot. In here is super low too. Yeah, so it's already pulling it up pretty good. There's not a good angle to show you really because it's weird how you almost can't see it, right? But I don't know, maybe this way? Yeah, I'll try it this way. I don't know what you can see. Maybe nothing. It's coming up a little bit. We need a bunch in here. We're going to slowly just try to work it all out. So I don't want to pull too hard. You can rip these things off and then you'll have a hole. So if you zap them on there too good and you get too ham-fisted with the slide hammer, you'll just tear the steel right out. And these bodies aren't super thick, so we want to massage this as easy as possible. It's coming up pretty good. It'll look like a porcupine when we're done. There we go. Wow, that one cooked in there. These dents, you can't really see it on the camera, but they're deep and sharp. It's hard to get the grinder down inside of there to get around there. All right, so I want to go back through and re-tack some of these, but I can't because they're in the way. So basically, you just cut off what you don't need, like specifically that one, this one, this one, that one, and then you just grind them down. All right, I don't know how well you can see, but maybe you can see that it's coming up some, especially like right in there. I can't get my phone in there, but that's come up quite a bit. This one might need to be centered a little bit more to this side to get it out. So yeah, I mean, slowly but surely, it's slowly pulling it out into a crown a little bit more. So, once you pull it up, I don't even know if you could tell very much, but that's high. All of this is low around it now. So it made like a little volcano. So you just got to keep on working it and getting it up all higher. So you start pulling in around here, pulling it around there, so on and so forth. It's not a fast process, especially on something with this many dents in it. But I mean, it's the way you got to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and knock some of this stuff out, especially in here. It's just a time-consuming process. So I'm going to do some of it. You've seen basically how it all works. The rest is just labor. So I'll knock some of it out and then bring you back when I got a little more progress made. We're slowly getting there. One of the ground areas for this, where the collar grounds out, burned through, so that metal there is pretty thin. So I have to plug that hole. There might be a couple other little pinholes here and there that I need to weld up, but it's coming around. I don't know how well you can see all that, but was all caved in. It's got to be all metal finished and all of that, but slowly but surely it's getting there. There's a high spot there where I pulled too hard. There's one there, and then there was one other one somewhere else, or a couple other ones. One right there, maybe where I pulled a little bit hard, but you know, some low areas. It'll need filler. I won't be able to get it perfect, but you know what? It's coming out. It's coming out pretty good. So yeah, that's how you use the stud welder. It's pretty handy to have. A little bit of filler. You can see it's low in here. So just little by little, I'll just have to, you know, go through and just keep pulling on it little by little. These things are relatively inexpensive for a whole bag of the studs. Being that this thing was like a bunch of little tiny dents, it's kind of making it a little bit of a pain. I'd much rather have like just one ding in the door or something like that. But anyway, just gonna continue working on it, and it should come out pretty good. All right, you should be able to see how this works a little closer. You should be able to see the steel come up. Check it out. You don't need to hit it very hard. Yeah, did it? I don't know, I can't hardly tell. That's not a very good one. Let's move on to a different area. Yeah, we'll try this one. This one you might be able to see better. I have no depth perception, so this is one of my favorite tools for doing body work. Yeah, you should be able to see that pull up. There you go. You can see it really good on this side when the reflection is on it. So I don't know if you can see anything with that or not. This one should be a pretty good one too. Yeah. All right, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for some dough. There's a low spot right there. This crease was pretty bad. Yeah. As far as inside goes, I did manage to pull out that major crease. So we still got a little bit there, but it's not a big deal. This is pretty much straight. Seals up nice. Perfect. You can still see a wobbly edge with, you know, for the most part. But if you look at it, it's not too bad. Once I get a skim coat on it and sand it down, profile the edge, I think we'll be good to go. Over here, looks like this corner or this edge, I don't even think you could see it. Yeah, you could see it right there, that shiny spot. So it's rounded at the top, comes down, and gradually increases to more of a point there. So anyway, I'm gonna put a little bit of dough on that. Well, all right, this is gonna suck. It's so doughy, man, or stiff. Probably because it's partially frozen. I don't know. There was like a hack or whatever that I saw online that says that if you get, I don't know, if you get stuff, your Bondo that's too thick like this, you can add fiberglass resin to it and like reconstitute it. I'm not sure if I want to try that, but I can maybe try it. We'll see if that works. I've got a whole gallon of fiberglass resin over here, but it is old and gross, but it's still liquid on the inside. So maybe I can find like a little container, put that in, put some of the old Bondo in it, a little bit of the hardener, give it, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes and see if it hardens up. If that works, then it'll make that a whole lot easier because it'll spread easier. So let me figure out what I can do for this. All right, well, I got some of this epoxy resin out of the jug. So we're gonna try to mix this stuff up and see if it'll harden. Let's hope. Because if it does, I mean, that'd be cool. I read the comments on the on that video, and a bunch of people were saying that they knew about this all along, and it's like an old trick. I've never heard it, so this is news to me. We would always throw out Bondo or filler or whatever when it would get hard like that. So I guess we'll find out. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit more to it and see if I can thin it out even more. You can see it's already getting pretty runny, so that's good. There's some at the bottom. If this works, let me know in the comments. Is this really a thing? I've done a lot of body work. I've never heard this before. But actually, it's pretty thin now. That might be right. So let me find some. Let me find something to put this on, and then we'll harden it up and see how long it takes. If it works at all. Look at that, man. That's creamy and nice. Apparently, what is it? Styrene monomer or something is what they said. The active ingredient is in this, so I guess we'll find out. Let's figure it out. All right, we're gonna use this. All right, so nice and runny. It's oozing. It's 47 degrees in here. We'll add a little extra just to make it pop off quicker. Let's let this sit the way that it is, and we'll see what happens. Come back in like 10 minutes. Well, I hit it with some heat because it's so cold, and sure enough, it hardened up. It's still, it's still not fully hard or cured, but yeah. So, apparently you can use, you can use some fiberglass resin to reconstitute your Bondo. So that's what I'm going to do. Ooh, that bottom part is like all dried up, so we caught this just in time. All right, I mixed it up. Looks like it's pretty loose, so hopefully it'll be all right. I've taped it off, all over. Hopefully it won't be a big deal. Shouldn't matter too much getting inside because it's all taped off. These clips have to be replaced, so I'm not going to worry about them too much. Whenever I get a new windshield, then I'll worry about the clips, because there's a bunch of them that are broken and missing across the top. I'm going to have to kind of sculpt it in a little bit. So I'll leave it, that's starting to tighten up now. Yeah, it's hardening up now. That sucks. I kind of stabbed it right there, but I think it's thick enough. So yeah, we're getting tight enough now. So, not the prettiest I've ever done, but I've got lots of room to cut down. So, let's set this aside. Once this stuff kind of hardens up a little bit more, we'll be able to just peel it off. So, kind of like that right there. It gets to a point where it's kind of like a gel or like a putty, and you can just peel it right off. So, yep, just like that. So anything that you've got like inside of here or wherever, just gotta wait. It's got a little bit farther to go before I can really do that, but you can cut it with a knife and sculpt it a little bit. It's been a little bit, but it seems like it cures up pretty quick, which is nice. It's cold out here too. So anyway, we'll just see how it goes. I mean, the good thing is it doesn't really have to be perfect or even close. No one's going to really be able to tell that one side might not match perfectly or the contour isn't exactly the same. Considering what the truck was whenever I first started on it, I mean, it's lucky it's even on the road. Well, I'll tell you what, I actually thought I had it way too thick, but turns out that it's kind of low in some areas here. So no big deal. I like the fact that the body lines and stuff and the way that the roof is break this up, so I don't have to worry about matching paint and blending or anything like that. This pillar's going to be super easy. I don't know if maybe I pulled these too hard, or if these are areas that were bent up from them prying on it, like warped the steel. So I don't know, but I don't think it's going to matter. I can make it a little bit thicker up in here and just kind of sculpt it down. Yeah, that's definitely high. So I don't know. I need to maybe tap them down just a tad bit. But other than that, I think that we're good. I'll throw on another thicker layer and then we'll leave it till tomorrow. Knocked it down pretty good. I think we're all right. Well, alrighty, it's another day out here. I finished some stuff up last night. It's raining outside right now, so kind of like sleet rain, so you might hear that on the roof. Not a lot I can do about that. But I've got the last coat on. It's all sanded to 400. It's ready for primer. So I'll show you what we got going on. We'll cut up some paper, tape it all up, hit it with primer, then paint it. I'm not sure if you'll even be able to see like the contour that it's supposed to kind of carry up through it. You might be able to see a shadow, and then it sort of blends a little bit more towards the top. So I think I've got it pretty good. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It should match the other side good enough, especially once the trim is on it. It'll cover up a little bit of that so you won't really see it. Most of the big pinholes are gone. We've got some paper here. We'll tape it up just so I can mitigate the overspray. And then this is the epoxy primer that I'm going to be using. Nice gray. That way the white will pop and it'll look right. If I use any other color, the white won't look correct. So if you use like the iron oxide or red oxide primer, this white will look a shade off. If you use black, it'll look a shade off. All of that stuff. So that lighter gray is the ticket. We'll see if the Mortsky hood trick works on papering up a car. And there we go. It's not the best tape job, but this Ace tape, man, this is horrible tape, and this is pretty heavy duty. It's not real paper for doing this type of stuff, but everything's good, good enough anyway. All right, I've measured out just enough. It's hardly anything really. It's a lot, not very much, but should be just enough to do what we got to do. So this is essentially the smallest amount that the cup will allow me to measure out. It's just kind of like a cheapy little Harbor Freight gun. I mean, it's leaking, but it'll be all right. I don't have to clean my big guns then. Wait for it to cure. That sucks. There were a bunch of pinholes that I missed. I don't know how I missed them. Probably just because of the weather out here. So I super hosed them all down. It's gonna run pretty bad, but I can sand the runs out and at least the pinholes will be filled. We'll use the heat gun to kick up the catalyst a little bit. That should just make it cure a little faster. Let's hope that the ratios in the cup were right and it's not too cold out here, or this will never cure and we'll be scraping it off with a putty knife, and that would suck. So hopefully it cures up pretty good. It's pretty humid out here. It's pretty cold. Guess we'll just have to see. Well, alrighty, today's the next day. Everything cured up overnight. It looks pretty good. I sanded it down. I got the runs out of it. Really, I mean, we're just ready to spray the color on. So this is the color. What is it, PW1 or PW7? So if you're looking for bright white Jeep paint, that's the color that they mixed up at the store. So I'll show you the pillar. So not too bad overall. It's just scuffed down to 400 right now. It's actually still a little bit tacky because, you know, it's just cold out here. It's only 47 right now after, you know, all night long with the heater on. To give you an idea, it's got a bunch of overspray on it and whatnot, but this is that white color and this is the original color of the truck. So it's not 100% exact, but you know, it's close enough. So this color right here is what came out of that can. So this is just what's left over. So the color is pretty close. So let me go ahead and shake this up. We'll spray it on there. Color good. One cool thing about using one of these cans is you can actually turn the fan on it. So I think that this fan will work better for us. So anyway, if you go to an automotive paint supplier, they should be able to set you up with a can like this. Fill it up with whatever color you want. Let that sit and flash for a few minutes. Kind of tack up so we don't get any runs. Go back, top coat, a couple of coats of this and we should be good. There's a couple of little flaws in it, but overall, you know, it's coming out pretty good. There are, yeah, a couple like little spots. I don't know, that must be an imperfection or some piece of grease or something that was stuck in there or was in the gun or something like that. Overall though, I think it's coming out pretty good. This is just the first coat. I think it's gonna match up pretty nice. Sure looks a lot better than having a super damaged pillar, although this stands out pretty hardcore once you know it's there. So maybe I'll just get a little touch-up brush or something and just fill that in. It's a lot less work to do it that way than, you know, going over it with filler and whatnot. So anyhow, beyond that, I am going to let this stuff flash and tack up, you know, basically get a good coat. Oh, I got like a hair or fuzz in it or something down there. Sucks. Once it gets all tacky and everything, I'll put on the second coat. And then the Jeep should be done. Mostly I just wanted to show you the cool stud welder thing because that was super fun. So the painting isn't really even part of the video. I guess it is, but it's not the main focus of the video. But other than that, hang on, let me finish it up and then we'll see how it looks when it's all done and all the paper's pulled off. All right, well I fixed some of the issues. There's a little bit, I sanded down some, whatever. I ended up with a little bit of a run up in here. This isn't the best light for painting in, but anyway, fixed it. It's still a little bit tacky, but we're gonna go ahead and pull this thing off now and see. The color in this light looks a little bit, I don't know, maybe you can see it on the camera. It looks a little bit kind of a yellowy compared to like a bright stark white that this is. So I guess the color isn't exact, but it's good enough for this Jeep. And there we go. It looks a lot better than it did before. The color isn't exact, but I don't really care. Maybe it'll lighten up a little bit as it dries, but this is a little bit more kind of a yellow tint other than this like bright, stark white. Up here, where I just threw some paint on it before, you can see the difference between the two colors. I never even bothered to sand it down or do anything because I'm not too worried about the Jeep. Having the pillar not all crushed in, though, was kind of a big deal, so I'm glad that I got it fixed and it looks pretty good. And I'll buff it down at some point. Got some paint issues and whatnot. I'm not trying to restore the Jeep, so I'm not worried about it. As far as this goes, I'm just going to sand this all down. Just hit it with some spray bomb primer and paint it with the white. But basically, I just wanted to fix it up so it didn't look so bad. And wanted to use the stud welder. So, well, I think it came out pretty good considering I didn't try very hard on it. You know, there's just hardly any effort and time, but, you know, came out all right. Just one more thing checked off the list of things that I need to do on the Jeep before I'm, you know, happy with it. Unfortunately, I busted the cowl louver vent things, chipping ice off of it the other day. That sucks, so I got to go find another one of those. But this looks better. It's not rusting anymore. I'll do the inside of the jam here, you know, when that dries up a little bit more. Just going to spray bomb that super quick, and then we'll be good. So we'll work on more Jeep stuff here after I get a few more projects knocked out. But thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.